Hi there, everyone. So great to have you. And I want to welcome you to Heart Sparks. This is our first one. And it's really just an intro to what we're going to be doing, along with talking about a specific subject around dreams, which is going to be done in the format of Heart Sparks. So I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a second. For everyone, please type in your hello. Can't wait to move forward with the new program and tell you all about it at the end of the program. How this is going to go is basically, I'm going to give a little bit of an outline for those of you in flight school, those of you in wings, and those of you who got on to monthly wake-up calls another way. And if you're just joining us now, you're joining us because you were probably on monthly wake-up calls. And you probably want to know what happened to them and what we did to them. So we are going to tell you. So that's what's going on, guys. Let's see, is there anything else I want to say about how it's going? Yeah, so we're going to go for about, I'd say we'll talk for about maybe an hour. And the last 15 minutes, we'll just talk about the program that we're doing with Monthly Heart Sparks so that you guys can see what's included in each of the levels. So very exciting. I can't wait to tell you guys some more about that, and just excited to see. Hi, Kara. Hi, Kathy. Hi, everyone that's saying hello in the chat room. Barbara, I think you figured out your unmutedness now, right?
Right.
How are you?
I'm great.
Excellent. Nice to have you here. Let's do this. And let's see, let's go to Carol. How are you? You got to unmute yourself, Carol.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you, Jennifer?
Good. I'm glad you're here, Carol. Miss you.
Miss you too.
Excellent. Cool. I'd love to do also, let's see here. If you want to mute yourself. Carolyn, where you been, girl? You're going to have to unmute you. There we go. How are you, Carolyn Emmett?
I am fantastic.
Excellent to hear your voice.
I'm here.
You are here. I got it. So yeah, I'm so glad to hear you guys are all here. So so everyone, it looks like the gang's all here. So shall we? All right. So let's get to the first things first. The first thing is, as you know, somewhere around March, we decided to pull monthly wake-up calls because we were looking to make something even juicier, something that had practical application in your life, even more so, something where we could all commune together, and something that really had us all empowered on subjects that pertain to your own life, what was going on, rather than me talking about overreaching subjects. So some of the changes we made to monthly wake-up calls are that, one, it's now a part of a program, and we changed the name. The name has been changed to Heart Sparks. So that's the first change. So you'll never see anything about monthly wake-up calls ever again. The second thing is Heart Sparks are part of a bigger program. And for you guys who already were involved in monthly wake-up calls, you are already in kind of the, if there was a 101 and a bachelor's program, you're already in the bachelor's program. You don't need to pay extra. It's all included. And in your School of Unlimited Life Hub, in your Soul Hub, where all of the recordings are, all of the monthly wake-up call recordings are, and all of your Heart Sparks recordings will be somewhere you've already been. You guys have already been there. You guys sign in and out of that all the time. If you don't, I don't know how you listen to your recordings. And if you have any problems with that, you can absolutely email Susanna at divineorder@thewideawakening.com. So if you don't know how to access your Soul Hub, you can connect with her and she'll be able to assist you. But this will actually in future, starting next month, be included in a bigger program. And you'll see that what gets included is you'll have the first 3 days of the 12 days of awakening there. You'll have the first 3 days of the 30 days of activations in there. And you'll have a couple of other things that are also of love and support to you in there as part of that bachelor's level that you're at. So we've included a little bit more in it. The next thing is that we'll be collecting your questions every month, both on the TWA Playground, the questions that you want to ask, the questions that actually come up in the TWA Playground, but we'll also be collecting questions from you and asking them for the week prior to the Heart Sparks. So this is all about your life. It could be about something way out there. It could be about money. It could be about what's going on in politics. Do I need to worry about my children? It could be any question. It could be about sacred geometry. You know me, I love questions. So absolutely, we'll be collecting those questions and we'll be running through the juiciest questions. And sometimes we'll be combining a few people's questions. So this will be completely guided by you, because whatever is coming up is what is likely coming up for all people. It's not just you, okay? So I really ask you to play full out in Heart Sparks so that we take this conversation really deep. Consciousness, there's so many eclipses. There are the Schumann resonance is going nutsos, meaning the frequency between a certain level of the atmosphere and the earth is going crazy, and it affects us all. There are more solar storms and intense solar storms than they've ever seen lately. So all of these things are affecting us. And what we're being asked to do is upgrade. But if we don't keep up with the speed of expanding consciousness, stuff starts getting whack, or you start getting depressed, or you feel hopeless, or you'll be riding the roller coaster up and down and up and down. And what we want to do in Heart Sparks is constantly keep you upgrading with the expansive times so that we can all be in this together. And we get the questions answered, as I said, both pragmatically, galactically, and every single way. You know, recently we saw some questions online about forgiveness. We saw some questions online about really disengaging people who are negative, really practical. Why do I feel bad? Why did I last so long in this horrible, bad feeling in my body? Why didn't I snap out of it sooner? You know, there's all sorts of things that I've seen lately. So let your questions rip, including tonight, by the way. And if you haven't yet said hello, you guys, for everyone that's Tana and Sal and Robin and Pauline, Michelle, Marie, Luann, Kelly, Kara, Jerry, Deanna, Kathy, Carolyn, Carol, and Barbara. And if you know there's some people that wanted to be here, make sure you text them to get their little butts over here. And I'm going to say to all of you, please type in a little hello in the chat. And if you have any questions, that's also the place to ask any questions that you have. There will always be a recording of absolutely every event that we have. And the cool thing is, unlike the monthly wake-up calls, the Heart Sparks will be interactive. And if we're doing really awesome and you're willing for everyone to see your face, Well, actually put your face on screen and real people can see your real face. Come on. How fun is that, right? Then what we'll do is if we have a really great discussion that may sometimes become the Wide Awakening Weekly, right? So I'll talk about the other 2 levels of Heart Sparks after we finish, or the other 2 levels of the School of Unlimited Life. So we have basically a 101 level, which is all the free things that we do. Then we have the level that you guys are at, which is, we're calling it a bachelor's, and that includes Heart Sparks and a bunch of other stuff that you're just gonna get. And then we have the next level, which is like an honors degree, and it includes a little bit more, and it's slightly more money, but for people who are in flight school or wings, you don't have to worry about that because everything's already included anyways. Okay, so if you're in flight school or wings, everything's included anyways. If you got your monthly wake-up calls because you were in Get Out of Your Way, or you signed up for a year of monthly wake-up calls, we're adding 4 or 5 more Heart Sparks to make up for the months that you've missed. And of course, we're adding to the program besides, so you already get some bonuses in there. So yay, hooray, yippee yahoo. All right, guys. So are you ready to begin? We're talking about dreams tonight. We're talking about dreams. So a couple of things. First of all, I'm going to ask some questions, and if you guys can type in your answers, I'm going to see who we might want to talk to about their dreams a little bit, or your experience with dreams. But we're not going to limit the discussion to dreams. We're going to take it out to everybody. Whatever you're going through right now, whatever's happening on the planet, whatever's happening in your life, you can absolutely add that to the conversation too. You guys know what happens. We usually take it to a place that we've never been before, especially as consciousness expands faster and faster. So one thing we're talking about is dreams. Then we're going to open it wide to Q&A. And then at the end, at the top of the hour, we're going to tell you about the 3 different levels that will be available by next month, that if you want to upgrade, you can. But in the meantime, just how you're seeing the call right now will be how it is in future. We've just upgraded the platform, so we'll be able to see your face and we'll be able to talk to you instead of just having writing on the side. Okay? And you'll always have the recording. All right, if there's not any questions, let's just go ahead. So I'm going to ask you guys some questions, okay? Let's get some energy moving. So the first question is, how many people know that there was at least one profound dream that guided a big change in your life? It informed a big change. I mean a big change. So for how many people did at least one dream inform a big change in your life? Okay. And what did that dream pertain to? Just write in yes, and it pertained to this, or no, I don't tend to have dreams. So the next thing is, I would love to know how many of you in future will actually do a poll, and I'll give you the results, okay? Because on this platform, we can do polls. So how many people regularly, I mean nightly or every other nightly, have dreams? So just type it into the chat room. How many people actually tend to have lots of dreams? I'm going to put it this way. Okay. Next question, you guys. How many people don't have dreams but know it would benefit them? Do you guys know that? So, and whoever's asked me to change my name, I have no idea how to do that. So the next thing is, how many people know that, let's put that a different way. How many people here have a pretty good idea of how to analyze, like that you regularly know how dreams can be interpreted? How your dream, what they mean to you, what they're saying to you. Like you're confident in your ability to interpret. You're confident in your ability to interpret dreams. So I love that. So Barbara, you're saying not so much. Jerry, you're saying you're guessing. Pauline is, I don't exactly know. Kelly, you use Gestalt work, which is great. Tana, much like most people, it's sort of sometimes but not always. I know, Luann, you love interpreting your dreams. Liz, I'm glad you do that often. Cool. So how we're going to talk about dreams tonight is, the first thing is how to remember more of your dreams, okay? The second is the different forms of dreams. It's a crucial question to ask. It's a crucial question to ask because if you're having an informative dream or awakened dream, that's very different than having a processing dream. And what the difference is between all of those, and how you can have more of the informative dreams that can actually give you guidance and then remember that kind of thing, okay? The last thing we're going to talk about is, I mean, this is an interesting subject. I know I'm going to, Luann, I'm going to actually bring you on a little bit at the end too, because I know you talk about people's dreams and your own dreams. We're going to talk about how to interpret dreams. Of course, there are whole programs on how to interpret dreams, but there are some key elements, about 4 or 5 key elements to looking at my dreams at night that that if I didn't do that, I actually would not get, I used to completely misinterpret my dreams without knowing the stuff that we'll share tonight. And once I understood how dreams worked, all of a sudden, first of all, I could relax because I used to have a lot of scary dreams. Second of all, I could also drive my dreams and ask questions and realize that I could participate in some of my dreams. I mean, how cool would it be for all of you if we could actually drive your dreams or actually participate in, imagine if you could participate in your dreams. And the last one is, how fun would it be if you could have some wakened dreams with your higher levels? That's my favorite thing to do. So who doesn't want to, well, maybe some of you don't want to do that. I can tell you right now that it freaked me out the first time, but it's super fun. Yes, it is totally the or better, Kathy. And hi, Mishimu. Okay, you guys, Mishimu is actually my pet name for Michelle Alley from Ontario in Canada. Again, I'm just going to say to everyone, I am just darn happy that you guys are all here, and I love you, and I'm just so happy to be here playing and having fun. And being able to do something of value. So that might, change life in some way, open some things up in some way. Oh, yeah. Did want to say this too, now that I see Pauline. So you guys, the other thing is this, that we want to do these calls at, we want to make sure that we do these calls at 5 p.m. because what that does is it allows us to include people from Australia and New Zealand. So it's a little late for people in Europe, and it's going to be a little early for people in New Zealand and Australia. But this is usually the best time to be able to include everybody, and that really is the mission. So apologies for the people who it's going to be a little bit late, and for the people it's going to be a little bit early, but I'm just happy that you could all be here, and we'll probably vary either 4 or 5 p.m. so we can include everyone. All right, so let's see here. And I'm only saying that for the people that I can see that are from New Zealand and Australia. All right. So let's speak about first how to remember your dreams. So I'm going to speak about it nutritionally, and I'm going to speak about it in terms of stress. All right. This is going to make perfect sense to you. I may need my trusty whiteboard over here, so we'll make sure we get this puppy ready. But the key is, don't worry, I'll raise it up when the time comes. The key is that when you are stressed out, okay, so when you're worried about somebody or something in your life, when you are consistently having that as a way of being, when you're carrying your business, your children, whatever it is, it turns on cortisol in your body. Cortisol burns up B vitamins, especially the ones that are needed in order to dream. And your body assumes that when you're under stress, dreams are not really useful, so your calories will go towards useful things when you're under stress, at least perceptively to your cells, like running, or the energy is not going to go to the mechanism that causes dreams to happen because it's not useful when you're under stress. So your cells presume that you are not going to be worried all the time or concerned all the time or carrying people. Your cells presume that all is well. Okay. And again, I am monitoring the chat, you guys. So if you have any questions, please just type them in. Okay. And I'll see you. All right. So the next thing is, then what does one need to do to dream? Well, one needs to get into a state before one goes to bed where that day is declared complete. So you've heard me say many times, a million times, I declare this day complete before I go to bed. Thank you, William Linville, for the inspiration for that. I declare this day complete. Higher levels, guides and angels, physics, all the cosmic entourage is the way to include it for me. The cosmic entourage take command. I'm going to get out of the way. You guys orchestrate it in ways that I could never have imagined, and off we go. But you can't just say the words. What's extremely helpful is get a journal beside your bed. Everything that you're carrying, worrying about, have to do in the morning, whatever it is, write it all down, and write down any ideas you have about it or inspiration so that it's complete in that journal, so that when you pick up the journal in the morning, you can pick up, if you want to keep worrying about stuff, it'll be all right there. But you want to make that declaration very, very deliberate. I declare this day complete. It is done. Then to put yourself at the frequency of your higher levels, the other frequencies of you that dance with you, so the metaphysical aspects of you that are dancing with you when you're asleep. So when you're asleep, what happens is your personality, the soul levels, the spirit levels of you are actually playing in the levels that when you release resistance, they get to go wherever they're called to go. So you're both you and you're able to access anything, but really the brain now is no activity, right? So you are now at rest. You are in the waves, the brain wave cycles that are about peace and calm, hopefully. Now, when you are in that state, what happens is it accesses the aspects of consciousness that can assist you from a state of less resistance. Less resistance means you can get more done metaphysically when you sleep. So when you hear me say doing nothing is doing something, I really mean it. Doing nothing really is doing something. Like, no kidding, people. So yeah, okay, doing nothing is definitely doing something. So the next piece of this is understand that remember, you're between 5 and 15% 3D, and then you're mostly made up of those other dimensional aspects of you. That matters when it comes to dreaming, because imagine when you get out of the physical existence and 85% of you at minimum is available to you, how much more can be done. That's why dreaming is just so darn powerful. You're being loved up and assisted when you sleep. Now, you don't have to ask for them to come. They're always there. It's more about getting into the frequency where they live. Are you with me? It's more about getting into the frequency where they live. Some of the stuff so for instance, what I'm going to do right now in the chat, I'm going to copy and paste the binaural beats music that I listen to when I sleep to make sure that I am present to my dreams. So here, for instance, in the chat is some of the binaural beats music that I listen to when I sleep. What that requires is it actually requires that you have a headset in or just little earbuds, so that you have both ears being infused with music that puts you into the state for you to be able to be relaxed into the space where your higher levels are. Luann, did you have a question?
No, it just popped up.
Oh, that's weird.
It is.
Well, I love you.
Love you too.
So, and there, if you go and look binaural beats, let's say you're anxious, you could type into Google search, YouTube, anxiety, binaural beats. You'll get binaural beats. Let's say you're working on a project, you could put it on your computer, play it while you're working on the project that you might be anxious about. And what it does is it completely flattens it, especially if you put earphones in. While you sleep, though, you want those binaural beats that are about getting into the various levels of sleep that you know optimize your brainwave patterns for dreaming, right? Which is the deep deep levels. Hold on, and let me give you the exact frequencies because it really does help. In fact, I'll post those in a second. Yeah, so they're at different megahertz, and those different megahertz either soothe or they make you go extremely deep. So 432 hertz is for healing. Okay, it's for healing, it's for deep relaxation. You're looking for the 432 hertz frequencies. Okay. When you're awake, you're at the beta. When you're awake and focused and alert, you're at the beta frequency. Okay. When you're calm but awake, you're at the alpha frequency. When you're drowsy, you know, when you're kind of going in and out and in and out, you're at the theta state. That's when you have those wakened dreams. It's pretty cool. And when you're in the delta state, that's when you're having the deep, deep sleep. So usually at 432, you are looking at super deep sleep. All right. So for me, that is extremely helpful. Now, I didn't talk about the nutrition piece. And Carolyn's asking, does it work as well if you're deaf in one ear? Yeah, it doesn't matter. Here's the thing about waves, Carolyn. They're waves whether your ear hears them or not. You know what I'm saying? So those waves exist whether your ear heard them or not. Now, why I say that is because I once, I still have it. I should find it for you guys. I have something from Patrick Flanagan, who, rest him, he is currently not super well, but he's a genius. He invented something called a neurophone. You can go and look it up, N-E-U-R, I'll type it into the chat. N-E-U-R-O-P-H-O-N-E. A neurophone has diodes, which also cause you to have wakened dreams by the by. So, and that neurophone, what it does is it has you be able to hear through your skin rather than through your ears. Okay, so it has, oh, let me just, I'm sorry guys, to all panelists and attendees, sorry, neurophone, there you go. And so, and let me put the YouTube thing up, and thanks for letting me know, Jerry, that you can't see it. Here is like an example of the binaural beats video that you can play on your phone all night while you're sleeping, okay? So, a neurophone, because I love dolphins and lots of the people that we hang out with love dolphins with all of your Pleiadian pasts. The neurophone goes onto your skin, and much like a dolphin, whatever you play through it actually gets heard by your entire body and through your cells versus these interpreters. It's super cool. It's the weirdest thing. So it bypasses the regular way we learn, the regular way we take instruction. It's like super friggin' cool. And you can have lots of wakened dreams with neurophones. Sometimes you can find the old models on not Amazon, but eBay. Just make sure the thing works if you're gonna go and get one. Super cool, okay? It's a way of hearing like a dolphin. So how I know it doesn't really matter, Carolyn, is that I've felt those waves in my cells and heard things through my body. You don't actually have to know what you're listening to. It's super cool. Okay, so, and thanks for asking the question. So the next thing is the nutritional piece. The nutritional piece is this, that B vitamins are essential. So taking a B complex, remember B vitamins go through your body 3 hours. It takes 3 hours for B vitamins to flush through your body. So taking one at breakfast and one at lunch is really important. If your body has enough B vitamins, you actually cope with stress better. That's why so many people take B complex, because it helps you cope with stress better, which makes you more relaxed when you go to bed. That's why you have enough of the B vitamins remaining that your body has enough of the mental capacity and the mental power, and your brain has the nutrients it needs in order to have that like really fun experience in your dreams. You with me? So sort of like a B100, 100 milligrams of a complex B at breakfast and lunch. Don't buy the cheap stuff. Go to Whole Foods and get one of those people to talk to you and get them to sell you the expensive stuff. There is a difference between the ones that are really inexpensive and the ones that aren't. So just don't go to your drugstore and buy them. That's all I'm saying. So B vitamins are probably the most essential thing. The other things, if you tend to like think too much before you go to bed, take Rescue Remedy. That'll calm your brain down. Again, the most important thing is the exercise I told you. Take command, write down your stuff, and then get yourself into a state of relaxation, which the binaural beats helps. If you really want to get to the frequency of dreaming, do an act of appreciation before you go to bed, but not like by rote like most people do. Thank you for the sun, and thank you for the stars, and I really thankful for my sister, and no, you have to actually feel it in your cells, and that will generate the frequency within you that'll start to match you up with the realms that will assist you in the dreams. Does that make sense, you guys? So, so that, my friends, is item number one. How does one get to the place where one dreams? The most important factor is the stress factor, hence the B vitamins, hence the binaural beats, hence the gratitude exercises, hence higher levels take command. You cannot dream a lot if you're a big stress puppy. Does that make sense? It's not going to happen. If you're just stressed about everything, okay? So try out those things. Rescue Remedy is awesome. A little calcium magnesium calms the body down. I love Calm, the product Calm. So those are some things that'll help you get into that dream state. So this also helps for people that work with people who so for instance, Luann, because you talk to people about their dreams so much, this protocol will help you out with your clients. So these are some of the things you can tell them if they're not dreaming, and it will help them as well. Okay. So are you up to being a little bit more diligent about actually having dreams? And if you're not, I want to enroll you. 85% of you is what's available when you are asleep. Okay? Most of you. And the place in you that isn't limited by time, space, geography, like is not limited, is available to you when you sleep. I'm not saying that it's time to get busy when you sleep. I'm just saying if really cool stuff could get done, including rewiring your anxiety attacks or whatever it is while you sleep, who the hell wouldn't want to do that? Right? So if you could talk to your higher levels, if you could play with your higher levels, right? If you could integrate with your innate abilities at light speed, come on, it's so good, right? So how and why? If you could get more infinite wisdom, if you could have an ayahuasca experience without the trauma and the drama and pooping your pants while you sleep, it would be cool. No? Yes, I think. So the next little piece is this, you guys. Next little piece is this. By the way, is this useful? Am I hitting some things that are good to hear? I just want to make sure, and please, my goodness sakes, if there's anything you want to ask or get information on, or, you know, some of you had mentioned earlier, you get dreams all the friggin' time. Well, good for you. But you know how you have your brother or your sister, or your best friend, they're like, I never dream, and you dream all the time, and it's really annoying. Well, now you have some things that you can tell them. Maybe they'll even join the monthly Heart Sparks with us. That would be so nice. So I would so appreciate that. So, all right, you guys. So would the world, for that matter. Let's see. The different types of dreams. Well, it requires that we talk about the different types of sleep too. See, you guys, sometimes sleep is something like, so recovery sleep. Okay, recovery, dreaming will not be good. If you're exhausted, you don't want to dream, you want a recovery. So you want to actually recover, and right next to it is integration. So, you know, most of the time when you're integrating, or when you're when you're recovering from an intense experience or from a really long day or whatever it is, dreaming is actually not what you really want, that deep restful sleep. So nothing wrong with that. Okay. One of the things that I find though is if I listen to 2 or 3 hours of binaural beats, like I look for the ones that are 2 or 3 hours at the beginning of the night, it allows me to get that deep restful sleep. And that's when I start to have the wakened dreams in the morning. So, you know, 5, 6 o'clock, I started having all these crazy ass dreams at 5 or 6 in the morning, because I've had a lot of rest because of the binaural beats earlier on. You see what I'm saying? So the next thing is, rescue remedy. Yes, it's a homeopathic remedy. And yes, exactly what Kathy said. It's a tincture. It's a Bach flower remedy, B-A-C-H. Bach flower remedies, basically, they're amazing. They're all made from dew from flowers, and each of the flowers has a different frequency pattern, and those patterns actually affect us. I use rescue remedy on my dog when I take him on the plane. It just calms him down. Binaural beats, if is spelled this way. Okay, so yeah, I think that's right. It's pretty small typing. I can't tell if I typed it right. So there's recovery sleep, there's integration sleep. You really don't want to be dreaming your little ass off. Have you guys ever had dreams where you don't feel like you rested at all because you feel like you were running a marathon the whole time you were sleeping? You don't want that, right? So again, don't be like Adam, where if a little bit is good, then a lot is even better. In other words, you take like mega doses of B vitamins and you end up having dreams all night and you don't get any rest. You know what I mean? So you don't want that either. So the next kind of sleep is a restorative. Sometimes you can get messages in a restorative sleep. The next level of sleep is a healing sleep, which you can also get messages in that, messages about what needs to heal. The next is, I would say, a wakened integration. So in other words, you get to kind of witness, like you've got all sorts of things going on. Have you ever had this kind of dream where you've got tons of things going on, but none of them are like non sequiturs? None of them match up with the other ones, and they're kind of all over the place. And they happen really quickly, but there's not really a story. Have you ever had those dreams, you guys? Where it's weird, right? So so that's a awakened integration. You're actually watching your higher levels integrate you and change things. You feel like things are changing. You're not sure what's changing. It feels like someone's working on you the whole time. You're not really sure what's going on, but at the end, you know, a lot happened while you sleep. Just type in yes if you've had that before, where it's just a lot went on. You're not really sure what it was, Or another version of that is you go far, far away, you know the construction crew was working on you, and then you come back in your body and you know you had tons of work done while you were away, right? So that's another version of that. That's sort of like I call that the escape. It's an escape integration. You know you went far away so that they could do tons of work on you. So we haven't even got to real, what we would call like real dreams yet. So let's talk about three different kinds of dreams. There's a message dream, right? There's I would call it like a lesson. So there's a message, like it's telling you something to do or something to pay attention to. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? And if anyone's had that, just say, yes, I've had, pay attention to, even if you've had it recently, because I'll bring you live. You can give us an example of, hey, pay attention to this, or you should really do this, or you need to talk to that person, or this is really important and you have to do something about it. So yeah, and we'll talk about forgetting as soon as you get up, Kathy, so because that's important. A lesson dream, it's like you're working side by side with your guides. They're actually taking you somewhere. Sometimes you get taken somewhere. Sometimes you visit. It's a lesson / activation dream. You get taken somewhere, you get shown something, you get an experience. It's like an experiential awakening dream, right? And then finally, there's what I call an awakened dream, which is you're right there. You're like so I'll give you an example in my life, okay? So a message dream. Let me just think of one that I've had. Oh yeah, okay. So I had a dream recently, and this might help you guys. By the way, dreams are also wonderful metaphors. So when you share your dreams and the messages that you get from your dreams, it's often going to affect everybody. So they're wonderful things to share. I was looking at when I was with my ex-boyfriend, and I was shown like my former husband, then my ex-boyfriend, then a bunch of anger, and then with Adam, I was shown like me barking at him. I didn't even know what I was saying. And what they were showing me is, you've got something to do here, Jennifer. Your past is being barked at your husband, and there was a direction to actually a flower got given to me then, and the flower for me represents earth angels. So I needed to find an earth angel to help me work through the past so that I didn't try to process my anger at the men that came before Adam on Adam, right? So that's and we'll talk about deja vus too. Thank you. Yeah. Thanks, my love. Okay, so that's a message dream. So and Kelly, you got one the other night. So Kelly, can I take you off mute, my dear? Do you want to share it? Or if you want to take your own self off mute. Kelly, if you unmute yourself, do you want to share? There you are.
Thank you.
Hey, my love. Yeah, what kind of dreams do you have? Hey.
Well, the little background really shortly is that I'm reinventing my business, and it's it's putting me out there where I'm going to have to be really visible more than I have been.
Mhm.
So the other night I had this dream that I got tickets for my friend and I to go to this show. And I thought the audience was going to be really huge. So I got these tickets thinking we'd be right in the center front. But the audience was really small. So those seat numbers were actually way over to the side.
Okay.
And in that dream, I still kind of have to piece it together, but the message of it was I go up in front of the audience, but I'm not part of the performers. I'm just like checking out the audience, looking at everybody. And then I walk back and I talk to the sound person and the light person. And then I go and sit with my friend way over to the side. And then we decide, well, oh, there's some empty seats up in front. Let's go center front. And so it was a good message to me that, you know, it's safe for me to be visible and put myself and my business out there in a bigger way. And it was kind of a stepping stone, you know, like just go and look at the audience before you become the performer.
Perfect. But yeah, that's perfect. It's a perfect example. Thanks, Kelly. Perfect.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so for me, yeah, it's sort of like this entourage of men behind me and me with this megaphone with Adam in front of me. And I'm like, that's not even me talking. It's like all of that talking. So I knew that it was a redirect. So the next kind of dream is about an activating dream. So it's where you go, where you know you're being taken or traveled or journeyed or brought to a new awareness. So instead of directive, it's more of an experience where you get this full body, like, oh my God, this is amazing. You know, it's a communion of sorts. An example of that is when I was in Peru and I got taken to a time when Machu Picchu had all of the goddesses being on God, like all of the spiritual teachers being educated there, and that they understood things to be multidimensional. And I watched the codes infuse into the rocks in Machu Picchu. I watched them all go into the rocks. And I got shown that we don't have to be afraid. That, like, I had the experience of, oh, I'm surrounded by the information. It's in the stones. Like, it's in the thing it's in the mountain itself. The people that lived here gave off the biophotons. The biophotons got taken up by the flora and fauna and rocks, and everything contains the information. But it wasn't, I was told that. I was taking on an experience of that. I could feel it. It bypassed having to be told or having to have a conversation. So that's like one of those lesson or activating types of dreams, right? Very interesting. Then there's awakened dream. Awakened dream, you know when you're in awakened dream because you swear you're right there. So I'm going to say that awakened dream is like being in another parallel universe. It is being in a parallel universe. You're in another reality, in another dimensional reality, where your spirit can go and work with other spirits and souls, and you're communing in pretend bodies. Yeah, me too, Kathy. I always remembered waking dreams too. I cannot not remember them. And I would say that ayahuasca is wakened dreaming. That's what ayahuasca is. It's just having wakened dreams. So I'll give you one that I'm pretty sure I've never shared this. When when I divorced my husband about a year later, I realized he had been plotting and doing some naughty things behind the scenes. And he was coming across to me as this good person, but behind the scenes, he was really angry at me. So he was being passive aggressive in ways that were kind of cruel, including asking my single girlfriends out. Lovely. And so what happened was I ended up having this dream where one of my very profound guides, I was in my body, but I was floating. And I floated through a doorway. I opened the doorway with my mind because I didn't have a hand. So my mind opened the doorway, and I was very clear that my mind opened the doorway. It did. We came into a room with a blackboard and very good girlfriends around, you know, Lois and Jeannie and maybe one, I don't even know who was there, but we were all floating in midair, and there was a whiteboard, and my guide was writing numbers up on the board, and all this information that I wasn't aware of, and he wasn't even touching the thing that he wrote with. He did it without, it just wrote on the whiteboard without anything. And I was very clear that it was perfectly real. And I used that information to have conversations with my ex-husband, and the things that I got shown on the whiteboard were true. So that for me is awakened dream, right? So, so it affected my real life. So this is multidimensional guidance. Those are my favorite kind of dreams because I just think they're freaking cool. It's a little freaky at first, but when you listen to binaural beats at the beginning of the night, you've got more, you know, more chance that you'll get those awakened dreams later. Remember that your higher levels, you don't want to force dreaming. Your higher levels know whether you need recovery or integration or restorative or healing or awakened, or you need lessons or messages or whatever it is. So what is the frequency for DNA integration while you sleep? If you want to, the further you get out of the way, so the deeper your sleep, the 432 hertz, the deeper your sleep, the more those codes can, your conscious mind is out of the way, so the codes can integrate with you. So for integrating with DNA, the deepest sleep is great. So let's talk about deja vus finally. So deja vus are, remember, there is no time and space. So if you have deja vus, it probably means that you collapse time quite a bit. Deja vus are such a case for parallel universes and for there is no time and space. Remember that all of existence can be explained in a Mobius loop. You can collapse the future with what we call the past by just doing this in mathematics. That means then is now. And so the future possibilities can, well, they do exist right now. It's just most of us are not willing. It's too scary or overwhelming to think about living that way, like that you could access that information. So a deja vu is when you're so present and your higher levels are on such a trajectory, and it's when you have a choice point. A deja vu, the instant you have it, it's like consciousness is going, this is a significant point. That's a significant point. You need to remember this thing. You need to remember this thing because, and thank you. We got 15 minutes, you guys, and I'll go into what's going on with our different levels of working with us in a second. So a deja vu is a moment where you're having choice. I'll give you an example. I remember a really dear friend of mine having a deja vu about stepping off of a sidewalk and being hit by a truck. She's not having or a bus. She was not having a very good life. She was not really thrilled about staying on the planet, and she had a deja vu. One day she realized she was at that corner where the bus hit, and she just before she stepped down, she stepped back up and the bus went by. It could be that distinct, you know. Deja vus for me aren't usually life and death. They're usually like, oh, I was gonna work with that person in my business, but I need to not even do that project yet. I get it. Like, I'll be at the point where I'm talking to the person that's like, oh, I have a choice as to whether to work with them or not. I don't need to be so hasty about making up my mind. So deja vus are poignant, and they are a form of dream, I suppose. But how many of you get lots of deja vus, or you listen to your deja vus? I would love to know. Because it's, it's a French word. It means already saw, like it's already been seen. It's already been witnessed. So deja is already, right? And vu is the past tense of see. So, and the interesting thing is, sometimes the faster you're saying yes to your life, the more significant those deja vus become. You just want to pay attention. Trust me, if deja vus need to get your attention, they will. So don't worry about having more deja vus. Deja vus they definitely will get your attention. So, and the reason, Sal, they're usually in clumps is because whatever's happening right then, they're trying to get your attention about what's happening right then. That's why they happen in clusters, because it's usually about something that's going on in your life right then and there, okay? Again, if you take your B vitamins, you'll be less stressed out. You'll be more available for deja vus. So, so the benefits of making sure isn't it great? Isn't it great, you guys, that higher levels will give us multidimensional information or upgrade us in an exponential way, or take us on experiences that have us realize more of who we are. Like, that's a full life. Think of how many people don't even know that it's an important part of life. It's not a full life without them, right? I can't imagine. And I would like, before we go into our description of what's going on, I would love Miss Luann. You can say, obviously, please don't feel like you have to blab, but if you can unmute yourself. Also, for everybody, if you forget your dreams as soon as you wake up, you need a pen and a paper beside. So there's an intention you can have. So this is how you play with your higher levels, or play with the dream. If you're dreaming and you know you're dreaming, you can actually ask people, you can ask for things, you can ask for certain kinds of completion. Start actually deliberately being in your dream, and you can start driving the car of your dream or asking questions. Sometimes not. Sometimes when you're having those awakened dreams, you can ask questions and it's interactive, but there's something that definitely needs to be said. Also, when you're traveling far, far away, you can also ask to come back. Remember, it is your consciousness with everything else in the dream. It's not like you're a victim of your dream. You really, 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 really aren't, right? Hence, when you have nightmares and you go, stop, it stops. So what one needs to do while one's in the dream is, I got to remember that color. I got to remember, just because when you're in the dream, you start going, oh, I got to remember that face, that color, that name, that this, and you deliberately start to remember these things. And the instant you get up, do not talk yourself into, oh, I'll remember that. Oh my God, it was so obvious. Don't let yourself fool yourself. Take your little book, write the dream out as much as you can remember, because right then and there is when you're going to remember it the most. Sometimes you don't need to, because it was just a processing dream. It really didn't matter that much, but it's fun, right? So yes, Marie, I've been in Ecuador, and every morning the Achuar people that we lived with for a week in the middle of the friggin' Amazon, in like, oh my God, with no electricity, what the hell was I thinking? With mosquitoes and snakes. Every morning they get up and they do a tobacco ceremony that's a purge. And what it does is they close their eyes, and it has them, what other people call hallucinate. It basically has them dream. They live their entire day. We did it, by the way. We did it a couple of days in a row. They live the entire day according to what the dream says. I mean, it's what they do, and then the day is lived by the dream. That is how important they hold dreaming. So the fact that we run around going, oh, that's really cool, I had a dream, when in actuality, you're communing with 85% of you. Hello, Ski, right? So Luann, okay, back to you, Miss Luann. So Luann, if you can unmute yourself. So Luann is actually currently in flight school. And Luann, dreams are pretty significant for you, yes? Oh, you just muted yourself again, my dear.
This is the wrong Luann.
Oh, it's a different Luann. Oh, really?
Different Luann.
Oh my God. I know two Luanns. Who knew? Oh my God, that's so cool. Well, this Luann, where are you? Where do you live?
Which one?
The one that's talking right now.
Oh, where do I live?
Yeah.
Right now, I am living in Colorado for about another 2 weeks, but I live in New Hampshire.
Oh, very nice. And do you get lots of dreams?
I had one last week. I don't get a lot of dreams, but I did have one last week.
And what kind of dream, now that you know what we've talked about, what kind of dream was it?
I think a message. It was almost like a validation of not denying myself opportunity to engage with others.
Beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
Way to go. And look at us. You're engaging.
Right.
That's just funny because it's funny.
It is fun.
Okay, my love. Thanks for coming on regardless. That's really cool. And it certainly doesn't diminish your participation either. It's just Luann from Flight School talks to people all the time who gets dreams. And I know it's pretty integral to her work. And so thank you for sharing, Luann, in Colorado.
You're welcome.
Yay, so glad you're here. All right, you guys. So for today, that's where we're at. So, and I think it is the Luann that you met in Bimini. So, so you guys, let me just say this. I hope from this conversation, thank you for your comment, Marie, because it gave me a chance. I had forgotten how important dreaming was to my process in the rainforest. Okay. So we've got a little bit of time to talk. So I just want to close here. If everyone can type in their word for how this was for them in the future, we're going to collect your questions way before times, but I wanted to get everyone in the mode of dreaming, the mode of getting yourself to the place where dreams become important and significant to your life. So just one word, just type it in, and I seriously, you can go on the Facebook Playground page and do a shout out about how you liked the call, because what we want is we want tons of people on Heart Sparks. The mission is to activate the grid together, and one of the things we're going to do at the end of every call, which we'll also do tonight, is we're going to do a little communal activation of all of consciousness. Okay, you guys? So 432 hertz. I love that, Jerry. So yeah, Play, Pauline. That's it. Inspiring. Yeah, you're totally welcome, you guys. Okay. So now I'm going to do a way better job of this in August. But because you're our patient ones that have been waiting for monthly wake-up calls to start again, which are now called Heart Sparks, at the last time on this call, I'm going to say monthly wake-up calls, okay? So they're called Heart Sparks. Thank you, Jeannie Selda, for the idea for that word. We basically realized that we want to take people, first of all, within a community on a journey. We also wanted to make sure that the experience of these monthly calls was inclusive to everybody, that we didn't go way, we didn't have wickedly not understandable conversations where people who are new, hopefully this talk about dreams could help anybody, right? So what we want is that the calls are perennial. So in other words, if someone wanted to go back and buy the replay of this Heart Spark, they could go back and buy the replay about dreams of this Heart Spark. Right? So we wanted to make it both perennial, but also activating of something that helps you integrate with these changing times. You can imagine that if you were more integrated with your higher levels and you were getting the messages more frequently, you probably wouldn't get headaches as much, or you probably would get over resistance more often, right? So every month it's going to be something to get you out of the way of your expanded self and be able to bridge yourself into being able to surf the waves of this expanding consciousness with fun rather than struggling all the time. And like I said, the last thing is we're going to make a contribution back every time. We're going to do a really powerful activation of the grid. And in the process of our awakening, everyone has questions. So taking your questions or taking some of the most profound questions that happen on the playground or the get out of your way pages and bringing them here for the general public, which leads me to the next thing. I don't know how else to say this, but we really value you sharing our work with everyone else. We actually value that. We know that organically reaching more people is receptive. It's the new way. It's the new operating system. Whereas pushing and going after is so in the old platform. We're all in this together. So we deeply appreciate you passing on the announcement about the next Heart Spark so your friends can sign up, telling people that it was so good talking about dreams and telling them this is where you get the replay, because it gives them an opportunity to join a community. One of the things that I'm noticing is the more independent people are, the slower the shift happens, and the more independence is good because we're all unique beings, but being able to play together, being able to bounce ideas without superimposing or controlling anything, where we're literally in a playground, that's why we call it the TWA playground, is just so much more beneficial and expansive, right? So here's how it goes, and thank you, Rob. Here's how it goes. There are basically 3 levels of being able to play with us that you will find in about a month. You won't find it now, but you'll find it in a month in the Soul Hub. The first level will be a place where most people will just come in and they will be able to go there and they'll be able to access so many of our free things. So the first 3 days of the 12 days of awakening. Some of our free YouTube videos and ideas about innate abilities and all that kind of stuff will be there. Just some really great fodder for thought. People who might not know anything about us, and there'll be an introduction to what it is that we do there too. So we call that 101. The second level is the bachelor's level. The bachelor's level is actually about what we're up to here. You get heart sparks. There'll be all of the things that are included in the 101 level, but at this level, we give you a couple of the programs. They get included, and you'll see what those programs are when we announce it, and Rob is actually making it really beautiful in the background, but some of the programs will be included that will really help you get the activations you need to be asking really good questions on the monthly wake-up calls, and also help you with your life. Some of the bridges will be built, will activate deeper truths and all that kind of stuff, and all of those will be in the background, and you'll get heart sparks, and you guys all will get that, okay? So because that's the level you signed up for, and it will remain at $33 a month, even though you get more stuff. So cool, right? And then there's a third level, and that is the honors degree. And the honors degree includes all of that, plus it includes an ability. We're going to be doing monthly interviews with some pretty well-known people. And in those monthly interviews, you'll be able to submit questions or be on live with those amazing people who are bridge builders, they're agents of awakening in the world. And you'll be able to have like interactive time if you want, if you have really deep questions on people that are experts in areas of life that are some of my dear friends, you'll be able to ask them questions and do all that kind of stuff at that third level. Along with at that third level, you also get out of your way. One of the get out of your ways for this year, you'll get it at no charge. You'll be able to come and do get out of your way at no charge. So that actually is $55 a month. It's pretty much the same price as get out of your way, and you get all that. So to me, that is like the best value by far. And the upcoming get out of your own way is get out of your own way to creationships. So we're talking about a whole other level of relationships. So that's what's going on, okay? So that's all you need to know. There's nothing to do right now. We don't have it up and running. I just wanted to announce it so you knew what we did. There'll probably be a fourth level, but we're not going to have that available probably until next year. But that's where it is, okay? So I hope you know that we've been working on your behalf to kind of support this journey forward together. And please, you guys, go on the playground and talk us up. The last thing I want to say is when you're sharing our videos or reposting some article that I've written or reposting a podcast or something that I've been in or something profound that we've shared, always put a little blurb about what you got out of it instead of just sharing it. And the reason is people don't watch it unless they know that you took the time. It's both technically proven. It's, you know, everyone that does coaching on sharing says that it just has more people view what it is that you're trying to share. And that goes for anyone's work or any video that you're doing. You really want to say a few words, okay? And again, I deeply appreciate all of you. And our staff are just, you know, we read some of your comments and we tell stories about some of the people in flight school. We do all that all the time. We're so in this with you. The staff is on the journey, the same journey you're on, including me. We're all in this together, and we're integrating and upgrading together. So let's do this last little piece, which is just a minute long. Everybody close your eyes, take your consciousness behind your eyes. Hold hands metaphysically with everyone here right now. Imagine as your consciousness drops behind your pineal gland through the portal. It's like you're only made of photons, and your collection of photons and wave particles is joined with other collections of wave particles and photons. And we're all globally holding hands around the world. It's a very easy exercise tonight that we're going to do. You can do it anytime you want. You don't need to be on this call. You can join hands with people all over the world whenever you want, because there are people that will feel you. Look back at the earth from this place of going beyond this biophotonic wave space as we join hands, and activate the love in every atom of our planet. Just see everything in our planet as love. See it all, the trees, the oceans, the dolphins, the people, the wars, the ice caps. Witness the love in all of it. Bring that to the forefront just by being a witness and putting your attention on it. Breathe that in. Feel the reciprocal appreciation of all of consciousness as we do this. Know that in our appreciation together, you most certainly will have amazingly instructive dreams tonight. Love you guys. Big hugs. Can't wait till the replay's available. Just giving you a big mwah, 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 all over your faces. Bye, you guys. Thanks, Rob. See you on the playground, all.